Good morning. My name is Tom. I come to you from the great state of Maine. Good morning. My name is Tom. I come to you from the Rustic log cabin in Northern Maine. Welcome to my cabin this morning. I just poured a hot cup of coffee. Right in front of that camera is a seat. You want to pull up a seat and sit down? You can enjoy my coffee today. What's everything you see on the table here in front of me? Well, it's my camp staples. I dragged them out earlier, just a little behind the scenes. Dragged them out earlier to build a video, and I just haven't taken care of them yet. Besides that, I kind of like looking at them. I got my camp cookbook here, and I add to it every time I learn something new. I am a self-taught cook here at the cabin, or I did most of my cooking on Madagamon Lake in the state of Maine. I don't claim to be a good cook or a great cook, but I can cook a pretty good meal in a Dutch oven and on a camp stove or over a campfire. At least in my world, that's the way it is. So I was just dragging this stuff up. These are my camp staples. I pointed that out. These are my camp staples. I'm getting ready to do a fish nugget supper tonight. You know, we got all them fish from the ice fishing season. So I'm still eating fresh fish nuggets, you know. It's not good to leave fish in the freezer for any length of time. So until the fresh fish are eaten up, I will be eating fish nuggets until open water, I guess. Here at the cabin, I will turn this camera around before I end it. But there is still 4 feet of snow on the ground. Hard as a rock. I can walk right on top of it, you know, because it's melting and freezing at night, stuff like that. It's probably not hard right now because yesterday we had rained all night and most of the day. Freezing rain and just plain rain. But it's quiet here, I'll tell you. I'm up here, you know, there's no action out on the lake at all because it's that time of year where the ice is melting. So it's probably got its unsafe spots. There's no noise out there today. Sometimes you can hear the occasional snowmobile and you can hear the occasional ice auger. But there's absolutely nothing right now up here. It is bone-chilling quiet. Well, I just sat here having coffee, thought I'd bring you guys along. Making plans and having dreams for the upcoming spring season. I've got a lot on the table. Right now, I would hope to come up here to work on a boat. I've got an 18-foot boat buried under 4 feet of snow. I'd hope to be working on that, but that hasn't happened. I'm not going to dig the thing out, that's for darn sure. And then, so we got probably, I would say at least a month before the ice is out up here. There's just no way around it. You know, 4 feet of snow. It's going to be the end of April at least before this lake is opened up. So that means, but I have another lake that I like to fish that will open up soon. So I'm probably going to mosey on over to that lake and drop the boat in there as soon as that ice drops. And if that's the case, then maybe it's known for brown trout, anywhere between 2 and 5 pounds. And it's been a while since I fished it, so that's why I say maybe they're still there. I used to fish it a lot, used to catch a lot of brown trout there. So I'm going to, as soon as the ice drops out of that lake, I think I'm going to go take a peek in there and check out the old stomping grounds where I used to catch the browns. And if I do, then that's going to be interesting. So we'll see what happens. But I won't have a whole lot of time for that because I've got this boat to get worked on. And also, all the materials came in from the rough sawn lumberyard for my 2 hunt shacks that I would like to build. So I'm going to piecemeal them right there in the driveway. So I want to get on that just as soon as I can. I'm just going to pound them out. I'm just going to, I'm going to build both of them at the same time so that they're sitting there side by side. Just make the two pieces. You know, cut one piece for one, cut another for the other. They're going to be identical. So that'll just speed that process up, and we'll have an assembly line there of hunt shacks that I can deploy just as soon as they're built. And I believe I will be able to, because I think that the snow is pretty much gone at Beaver Creek. Now it's going to be wet in there, but that's all right. I don't care about that. I got rubber boots. But so I'll be able to get the pipe staging in and get everything installed. I would love to have that all completely done in a short order of time, because I don't want it to mess up spring fishing. So I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna hit that pretty hard. Come on, Annie. I got Annie out here floating around. But I want to get them hunt stages, the hunt shacks in, and get them done so that they can sit there and quiet, waiting for bear season and waiting for deer season. As you all know, last year my deer season was messed up quite a bit. My own fault, but it wasn't really messed up. It's, you know, in this lifestyle that I have, you know, everybody thinks that you go out and you shoot a deer every year, or you go out and you shoot a bear every year. That's not the case. You have work, you know, while you're still in your working years. And last year for me was one of those working years. And you sacrifice really the entire year once you decide to take on a project like Beaver Creek. You know, we bought the thing in the wintertime, or we traded for that big boat. We bartered for that big boat, and then got the property, and then we had to, you know, find the property lines, make sure I was building within the property lines. And then from there, you know, I had to build a cabin, and it's a mile back in the woods. So that took most of the summer to get that cabin built. And I didn't finish it. I had hoped to finish it well before opening day of deer season. That didn't happen. I was still working on that cabin the second week of deer season. Whoa, camera's dropping down. But I was still working on that cabin the second week of deer season. So that really, really messed up my deer hunt over there. And on the second week of deer season is when I hauled in the portable tree stand that you saw in my videos. I got that hauled in there, so at least I had a tree stand that I could hunt from for the remainder of the season, which was, well, I hunted right through the end of muzzleloading season. But it was still, you know, it's a lot going on in there. I was finishing up the inside, making it comfortable so I could stay there. You know, I got the outside done and got that buttoned up. But that meant I still had to get a bed built. That meant I still had to get... I don't have a kitchen in there yet, but I'll be working on that this spring. I've got all the parts and pieces for it. But that meant a whole lot of work going on, you know, the first couple of weeks of deer season. So that really mucked things up quite a bit. And I also had another good spot, but I didn't have a tree stand for it. And that's where this second tree stand is going to come in. So that would give me 2 tree stands to set in, so I could bounce back and forth. And once those are in, then the work over there is really going to slow down. Once I get the 2 tree stands, well, I'm working on 3, but I've still got to scout out the third spot. It's on the furthest corner of my property. So, and there's a great possibility that I'm going to put some kind of a stand over there as well. It'll probably end up being a bear site, because it's quite a ways from the cabin, which that would be quite nice. So after the hunt shacks are built and installed, I still need to put in my dock system out to Beaver Creek. And there's a whole lot of swale grass between me and Beaver Creek. So what I have decided to do is I've got some metal signpost, like stop sign post, that kind of material. I have no idea where I picked it up. I just see it in my junk pile. But I've got 2 sections of that. I've got a 10-foot piece of it, and I also have an 8-foot piece of it. And what makes them so nice is they're right full of holes, so they can hang a sign on it, and some kind of a signpost. But they can hold it, they can hang a sign on it at any height. So how that's going to work for me is I'm going to cut the 10-footer in half and drive 2 pieces, 1 of out in the water, down in as far as they'll go, and hopefully it'll be far enough to hold everything in place for what I want. And then left over from my construction years, I have a 24-foot aluminum plank. It's 24 feet long and it's 12 inches wide. Now I could sell it and I could have the cash money for it, but I wouldn't get a whole lot out of it. And I've had it a long time, so I'm thinking, it'll make a really good permanent dock system for Beaver Creek. Being 24 feet long, it'll get me 24 feet of swale grass. What my plan is to go out and drive in these 2 posts and put a cross member across, and then set the 24-foot plank on top of that, and then, you know, coming back towards shore. And come back as far as I can, and then if that's not enough to get out of the swale grass and onto some good ground, then I will lay in some spruce trees and make a bridge that way to get out to the 24-foot plank. And the reason I want all of that is pretty simple, is if I shoot a bear or if I shoot a deer or something like that on my side of the stream, and it has enough life to cross the stream or to get out in the stream, then I've got a 12-foot boat sitting over here in a trailer that I picked up in another swap. I cleaned up a guy's yard for the boat for free. So I got a 12-foot aluminum boat that I want to put over there permanently. And with that dock and that boat, then if a bear crossed the stream, or if a deer crossed the stream, then I would have a rowboat there that I could row across the stream and get over to the other shore and get my bear or deer that way. As well as, at the same time, it's a pretty good place for hunting duck, pretty good place for hunting Canadian geese. So all of that stuff is on the table if I have a small boat or a canoe there. As well as, I do have some kayaks that have been given to me over the years. I have 3 12-foot kayaks that a friend of mine moved out to Kentucky, didn't need them, and he built them when he was, 40 years before he gave them to me. So he gave me them 3 kayaks. You'll see them, and I'm gonna end up with putting those over there too. What I want those over there for is the grandkids, and I got 2 nephews that are going to be helping me with these hunt shacks, getting them installed. And so what I want for them is to be able to have kayaks to go out and play in the stream if they want to, because that stream has got everything in it, from bass to pike to who knows. People talk about brook trout that are out there. So there's a little bit of everything out in that stream. So that'll be perfect for that. As well as I'm also going to drop a couple of my eel pots in that stream. Because of all the swale grass. So maybe if I drop an eel pot or 2 out there, I can come up with an eel or 2. So we'll see. But have some coffee with me. I was just sitting here having coffee and kind of chewing the fat with you guys and kind of letting you know what's on the horizon. So I will see you next week in the next video. And thank you very much for coming along.